Hey guys, Rob and Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with episode 19 of my Italy's Holocaust. And the last couple minutes of this film offers up just that. A couple minutes of just, I just went back and rewatched it just now. And if it wasn't for the fact of getting flagged immediately, I'd play it. But here we go, man. Zombie 4 After Death, or Zombie Flesh Eaters 3, of course. Compliments of 88 films. Now, I was fortunate enough to jump on this when it first came out. The limited edition with the slip, and if that's not enough, a nice little booklet with an article written by Kellen Waddell, which covers the entire franchise, and a lot of intriguing, interesting, just thoughts, man, being written down. But this is just an absolutely fantastic release by 88 Films. And now we are working backwards, right? And if you are curious as to how this whole zombie ordering system works and why are some called this and that or whatever, I just did a video. Actually, by the time this goes up, it's already been out for a few days. But anyways, one of my new something weird, just a thought, I spent about 15 minutes on the ordering of the entire zombie franchise as it ought to be taken officially, unofficially. Anyways, we're talking After Death, man. Claudio freaking Fragasso. Troll 2, he said, for me, horror is guts. And you do get a bit of that here and there, especially the end, right? Look, I'm going to give you a few reasons why I absolutely love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. Unfortunately, Zombie 3 is a bit of a mess, only because Fulci begins and gets sick, drops out. Matai comes in, Fragasso's there to help, and ultimately, in the end, it's not a bad product. But this one feels, look, there's reasons why I love this one. It's jungle horror. I love jungle or island horror. It taps back into what made the first Zombie so great, the whole voodoo thing that's going on. You got James Edward Sampson, who plays a voodoo priest, is Willie from Stage Fright. Also, he's in Gates of Hell, Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead. Trying to think, the guy who does deliver on the makeup also worked on Nightmare City, Zombie 3, New York Ripper. The cinematographer worked on things like Demonia, Enigma, Island of the Living Dead, which was one of the latest of Matai's efforts. First released on VHS by SPO Entertainment in Japan in '88. I don't think there was an American release on this in VHS format. I did a little bit of looking and I did not see anything. So Fragasso comes back, helms his own entry into this franchise, and it's a lot of fun, man. I'm just trying to think of the story. Let me just lay it out here. So we begin with learning that scientists have infiltrated this island to work out a cure for cancer. Their work runs into the ground, though, as a result of them trying to help the local voodoo priest's daughter, who falls ill to cancer. They're not able to save her. She dies. He holds a grudge against them and ultimately wields a voodoo curse, unleashing the dead to basically wipe them out. And for all intents and purposes, he does, with the exception of a little girl whose mom buys her time. This is all right at the beginning, and she, how does she get off this island? Who knows? Who cares? She gets off the island. 20 years later, man, she happens to be boating around, man. You don't know why exactly, but she's hanging out with some mercenaries, some guys who recently were in Vietnam and got a boast of it as well. And I don't even know really what they're doing. but they just happen to be in the neck of the woods, a little too close to this island. Now, she doesn't have great memory of what had happened as a little girl, but wouldn't you know it, fate as it is, their boat sort of clonks out on them, and they have to basically dock up at the shore. And when they go in, one of them, what is it? One of them actually needs help. I can't even remember now. There's a reason though. They need a hospital. They need to. One of them is attacked by one of these free-ranging voodoo zombie things, right? Gets bit and starts, to get sick. So like, we got to find a hospital. We got to find something. And now Jenny, right? Jenny's she's the main girl, and Chuck, who is played by Jeff Stryker. They'll sort of be together at the very end. But I'm just gonna lay it out there now, man. Anyone and everyone who steps foot onto this island, you ain't getting off this island. Fate is fate, and 20 years later or not, Jenny, sorry, you should have never come back to this neck of the woods. So they go off searching, right? Now you got 3 other individuals, I think there are 3 other individuals, who are there looking for the eye of the volcano. They're looking for something. They end up at the area, I guess, where the voodoo priest was, that we see in the beginning of the movie. They find the Book of the Dead, a Book of the Dead, and start reading from it. You're not supposed to read from these books, and that kind of sets things into an aggravated motion. I say aggravated because things were already sort of there in motion, hence the initial attack. But what they do sort of unleashes things to go. Well, so their attack, Chuck, Jeff Stryker. Chuck gets out of there, and he ultimately, at some point, will hook up with Jenny and the others. They'll sort of board up at this house. They'll find this house. Maybe it was what was left of the hospital where the scientists probably worked. And the zombies will eventually end up coming in. It's a siege film for a bit. You're going to get some pretty nifty special effects, makeup effects, or whatnot. But the real fun in this movie really does begin once Chuck and Jenny flee from this place and ultimately head towards, where the Book of the Dead is, where this pit to hell is. And then in the closing moments, we'll both realize their doom. And it is quite the ending. Once all these mercenary type characters, once they start falling one by one, it is a bit of a fun ride. I don't think this movie has ever looked so good. I ran it last night. I think it was last night. No, it wasn't last night. The night before. Anyways, on my brand new 4K TV, in my 4K player, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. It really did. It sounded pretty good. I think 88 really did a good job. And I want to say that there is a Severn, I think, put this out, and I think I read somewhere that 88's transfer, ultimately how it looks, is actually a little bit better. I could be thinking of another movie. I've been looking about so many lately, but it just seems like maybe. Anyways, inside, kind of get that going on. Again, you got just a great write-up by Callum Waddell in here, a nice little book. I don't know if you can find this or not. See, this is what I mean, man. You can just kind of the jungle atmosphere, man, on this island. There's some good stuff in here for sure. Trying to see if there's another good. I mean, this is the benefit of being able to jump on something quick enough. James Edward Sampson's freaking awesome as the voodoo priest. I love the fact that, big surprise, Ottaviano Dell'Acqua, he's our most infamous zombie from Lucio Fulci's 79 masterpiece. He plays one of the scientists in this movie. And I want to say his brother's in here too, which is kind of neat that he actually got to see more zombie action via a scientist. trying to think if there's anything else, man. 1989, it comes out. Look, I mean, you know, remember, I'm kind of going off of this as well, and Harper really doesn't have much good to say about this movie at all, which didn't surprise me. The one thing he does say, though, that I take exception to, I'm trying to see where he says, predictably, After Death bears little relation to any of the zombie films. Instead, Fragasso chooses to focus on fast-paced, sharply edited action scenes. It is fast, and the action scenes are pretty good. If there's one thing, it is not boring at all. You can say anything you want to say about the writing and just how absurd some of what we're expected to believe is. But when he says bears a little relation, this one actually has the strongest relation to Fulci's first film, because you're dealing with this subject matter of voodoo. And that's what, in part, a thing that really set his film off from George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, marketed as Zombie, hence Fulci's movie Zombie 2. Right? But the fact that voodoo is a central piece that moves this film really does take this film back a bit. And I want to say, too, the closing minutes, the gore scene, man, when Jenny and Chuck are there, and Jenny, I think she has she takes her amulet. She has this amulet that she has had ever since. She thinks she's doing some good by throwing it into the pit. I think she thinks it's magically all going to just be done and over with. In fact, the reverse happens, man. She's looking into this like mirror image of herself, and her face, man, just starts to turn. It is a great special effects moment. And at that time, Chuck, Jeff Stryker, who's standing up, a zombie comes up behind him, literally grabs him by the top of the head, puts his hand right through the back of him, and you got this just incredible gore scene that begins to unfold, man. And they go back to her face is deteriorating, she's pulling her eye out. This whole scene feels like it was given as a gift by Fragasso back to Fulci. I feel like it is the closest, you know, it is, I think, the closest we feel in any of these movies after Zombie, that we get back to something that made Fulci's film so great. And the closing moments of this film bears that out. It is a great, gory, gruesome sort of scene that ends the way you would expect a movie like this to end. Not good for its main set of characters. I don't know what else to say about this, man. It's jungle horror, it's voodoo, it's zombies, it's part of the official zombie franchise. It's got, as you keep hearing, it's got one of the great songs. It just takes in your head. You hear it, you won't get the song out of your head for weeks. It's got a great Run Zombie Run interview with Fragasso, which he kind of leans back and remembers what this was all about, and then an interview with Alan Bryce, which I think he talks the history of these movies released. I didn't sit there and watch it, but it looked like it had the markings of a really good short documentary. So if there's take a look, man. This is region locked. I got this off of I can't remember if I got this or James got me one of them. He either got me Zombie 3 or Zombie 4. He got me one of them, and I can't remember. But either way, I would have had to have gotten them off of Amazon UK, right? Or direct from 88 Films. And take a look to see if this is still there. If you're region free, take a look to see if it's still there. It could be. You probably won't get the slip or anything. That stuff works. But yeah, let's go ahead and end it here, I guess. Fun movie, man. I think in the end, a great effort by Claudio Fragasso. And next stop, man, Zombie 3, and then ultimately we will talk about one of the greatest zombie films ever, maybe the greatest ever made. I know there's an argument to be had with that, but it edges out the other for me. I love Fulci Zombie, and we're getting there. So Zombie 4 After Death. Next up, Zombie 3 on our Italy's Holocaust, looking at the movies from 79 to 94. And, ultimately in the end, we're going to have to hit Cemetery Man, which sort of closes things out. Bookends with Zombie. Anyhow, man, I hope you enjoyed. Drop a comment, hit the like, hit the sub, all that wonderful stuff. Thank you for the support. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream.